the 1990s, mental health professionals reported an increase of college students needing help for mental issues. In the same era, violent acts from sexual assaults to shootings began to increase. In addition to statistics shown, College Safety Magazine reported in 2018 that college shootings increased 153%. In addition, the National Center for Education Statistics reported 6,700 incidences of forcible sexual offenses. College student mental health services serve an important role in maintaining a learning environment that is safe and healthy. The Association for University and College Counseling Center is committed to that safe and healthy environment in its efforts to assist in creating a future role that the students will have in society. What needs to be implemented into the existing policy is a tool that would allow the mental health professionals with background knowledge of the students that demonstrate aggressive tendencies towards others or themselves. The addition to the policy would require the attending campus counselors inquire with the student's previous learning institution if the student has a behavioral intervention plan on record, and if so, request that it be transferred to the college counseling center. We are speaking to Ms. Martinez, who serves as a specialized support behavior teacher for 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. Thank you, Ms. Martinez, for sharing your information with us today.
You're welcome.
Here is the first question. Considering the increase of violence on college campuses, would you agree that a continuing BIP record be available to the students' counseling center in college?
Yes, a behavior intervention plan, BIP, is part of an individualized education plan, an IEP. A student with behavior issues can be referred for special education services due to the severity and the needs that stem from their behavior. An evaluation is done, and through results from various observations, students are placed in the least restrictive environment according to their needs. Once a student attends a public school and has been identified to need behavior support, no matter where they go, the BIP and the IEP go with them, allowing the college counseling center to have the last IEP or BIP should be available. Once the student is ready to leave the public school system, an ARD should be held. An ARD meeting is an annual review and dismissal meeting that happens every year. In this meeting, the parents, teachers, and counselors, and even students get to be part of and share where the student is headed. Usually, when a student reaches 12th grade and is ready to move on, a transition teacher would contact either agencies or the college that the student would like to attend. If the student is needing accommodations to further their education, the transition teacher should make the college campus representative of said needed accommodations. In my opinion, if a student has gone through 12 years of education with different needs and accommodations, the same student will need these to get through college. For example, if a student has had psychiatric visits provided by the school district 2 times a week for the past 4 years of high school, it would not be right to not have the same visits during their college years. A psych visit is not a want, but a need for these students. The key element is the communication between the transition teacher and the college, or even so, the student or the student's parents and the colleges.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Here is the second question. Do you believe that behaviors that you see in your elementary class could be used as an indicator of future harm to the student or others?
Yes, students with behavior problems have different needs. Therefore, their behaviors are all different. These students have internal issues, which are also considered behavior problems. There are also students that express their behaviors towards others. In these two different ways of expressing behavior, as a teacher, you get to know and understand the different ways in which a student expresses their emotions and behavior. Every student is unique and different. Therefore, what may work for one is not guaranteed to work for the other. Through research, it has been known that the first few years of a person's lives have a major impact in the way they carry on in adulthood. Most of my students have been exposed to traumatic experiences and therefore now need the support with dealing with their behavior. Some of their traumatic experiences affect them in such ways that in dealing with themselves, now they see others around them as threats and therefore tend to become violent and compulsive. For example, someone with oppositional defiant disorder will show defiance towards others without any reason or cause. When one gets to work with the same student for 3 years or more, you get to understand that it is part of their disability. However, these behaviors can't result in the long run as possible harm towards others. This does not mean that every student has to be part of an SSB is considered as a threat, much less that they are a threat now. But because of the lack of stability in their lives, these students can expose indicators for harm towards others.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. This is good information. Only 3 questions left. What do you feel college campus counseling centers could do different to be proactive when dealing with on-campus violence?
I think college campus counseling centers should educate the students and the faculty on certain traits and behaviors that could be considered as warning signs. More than anything, they should encourage incoming students with behavior problems to be outspoken about it. Even students at an elementary level are able to recognize their triggers and target areas. They work at them every day, and once they accept that they need to work on these, they will be able to cope with their environment better.
What are the most common tendencies, be it verbal, outburst, or violence, of your BIP students?
Most of the common tendencies and or their meltdowns involve verbal threats. It really varies depending on the type of student and the situation, but for the most part, it is defiance or verbal assaults. Very few students have demonstrated to be physically violent, but it has happened. Most of these are learned behaviors. Students have been exposed to these at home or even through media and other sources, so they do demonstrate them in my classroom.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Martinez. One last question. What percentage of your students have shown violent behavior?
Out of all my students, I would say that at least half of them have displayed violent behavior. It has either been towards adults, other students, their own family members, and even themselves when they are found in conflicting situations.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. I appreciate your time. That concludes the interview.
You're welcome. Thank you.
In conclusion, partnering in the attempt to lessen on-campus violence, stakeholders, policymakers, and legislators should be on board in promoting wellness within academia for the reason that the outcome is enhanced overall health for the student. Parents would be encouraged to enroll their student in a campus that is implementing a process to keep their child's information private, create a strategic plan to assist the student's mental health issues, and appreciate the genuine desire on the institution's part to be a positive partner in their child's treatment for recovery.